Hello to each and every single lovely smiling face out there. I hope you're all doing well on this glorious day, and wherever you are, I hope the weather is lovely. Today we're going to take a quick look at something that we went over in the live stream last night, which this one, it probably will be split into two videos, just because of the amount of stuff we need to get through, and I don't want to keep you guys here for a long time. But we went over this in the live stream, and a lot of people had a fantastic, just their theories and what they had to say about this. It was just brilliant. But as you can see by here, we're going to spin this around. We're talking about Adam Waldman, and he's been on a Twitter spree for the last day, and it's been fantastic. A lot of the stuff he's shown is a lot of stuff that we all went over when you're in the courts and everything else regarding the people who she had, her friend Rocky and all these people, even that the judge dismissed actual police confidential files and the police's statements. They're like, yeah, whatever. That's the one thing that bothered me the most, is that this man who is meant to be a judge, the one who is meant to be like, right, law and order, we're meant to deal with this and put it out there, we're meant to help people. He completely dismisses police officers' statements. Why? But this is what we got. This is the first one. Under oath, AH's friend Rocky testifies to carnage of Johnny Depp swinging a giant magnum wine bottle of red, May 21st, 2016, and smashing to smithereens the candles, fruit, baskets, glass jars, vases and flowers off the kitchen island. What a messy crime. And he obviously, is going through with the actual, this is what he did. They have a big kitchen island in the middle of the kitchen, and on there's candles and fruit and, glass. Yeah, we all know what's on a kitchen island. A lot of people haven't got kitchen islands because a lot of people do not live in multi-million-dollar penthouses rent-free. Like jars and vases and things like that, and he was just hitting everything with the wine bottle, just smashing it all off. So there was fruit on the floor, baskets and, glass bottles and flowers. Like Adam says, very messy. I was hoping that the security guards would hear us, that somebody would hear us, and that they would step in. And I just held there. Because I didn't want to aggravate the beast, the crazy person that was in the kitchen. The only way to get out of the apartment is to go to the kitchen, and we would have to go right by him. And he's smashing everything with a giant magnum wine bottle. There's broken glass through all the stuff that's on the counter. We couldn't get out of the apartment. He was there. Ooh, sounds dangerous. Sounds very dangerous. So, Adam continued. Then AH's best pal, she doubled down, picturesquely claiming red wine spilled all over the ground and wine on the walls, like splashing wine everywhere. In the UK High Court was sloshing wine everywhere. What a messy crime scene. And these are other ones that Adam has posted, At the bottom, Johnny was smashing and knocking off things from the kitchen island, fruit baskets, glass bottles, flowers. He then grabbed his bag, stormed out of the apartment. He had a wine bottle in his hand and was sloshing wine everywhere. His security did nothing but stand behind him. No effort was made to restrain him, and no acknowledgement was made of this. So have these security guards been, have they come out and done their own statements? Have they, Because if you're there saying, these guys, they saw everything, then, we'll have to see what happens there. But it carries on. What made you think he'd actually left? I didn't think that he had actually left. I could still hear him. And when we walked out into the hallway, you could see wine spilled all over the ground and wine on the walls, and so I knew that at least he had gone through there and was splashing wine everywhere. Yeah, okay, that's not what he asked. That's not what they asked you. Then you had Adam posted again. Miss AH's friend Josh Drew, living rent-free in Mr. Depp's penthouses, picturesquely testified in UK High Courts that he walked the two trained LAPD officers past the large wine stain in the hallway. The hallway's rugs are light-coloured. What a messy crime scene. You could see where this is going, ladies and gentlemen. By there. Later, I greeted the police officers who arrived about 15 minutes later and showed them around the apartments. I showed them broken glass, walking past a large wine stain in the hallway. I showed them various damage to the property. A wine bottle dent in the door of our apartment. See? Our apartment. No, it's Johnny's apartment. you're just staying there. Then a tour of Penthouse 5 where there was broken picture frames, smashed glass, Rocky's jewellery and other things strewn across the apartment. Ooh, sounds a little bit dangerous, that does, my friend. That sounds very dangerous indeed. But then you got AH describing under oath the area around the kitchen island, smashed May 21st, 2016, with a giant magnum bottle of red wine and a spasm of carnage by the fruit ninja, Johnny Depp. What a messy crime scene. Silver candlesticks, candelabra sticks, those were on the floor broken. Baskets of fruit that we had there on the kitchen island. There, fruit everywhere. Baskets on the ground. The containers holding the spoons and forks, kitchen utensils, those were spilled. Things that were a lamp, a little statue thing, among other things. With all of this, there is one thing I do have to say with the way that these people have gone about their own statements and everything else. You could tell this has been pre-planned, just by the way they're speaking, because certain things, spoons, forks, kitchen utensils. It's like, just say kitchen utensils. And because of the way they're trying to draw out this was there, it's like, right, you know exactly what you're doing. You know that this is already pre-planned. It's been pre-wrote down, most likely by AH's law firm and everything else, all those people. They're probably going on and saying, right, you need to mention this, but you always need to say it was a Magnum wine bottle because those are big, those are heavy. You need to keep mentioning that. That's exactly what they've done. But again, Adam Waldman kept going on. Nothing had been cleared up in the apartment. The police saw everything. That's quite clear. After Johnny Depp done this to Miss H in the face with a cell phone and brutalised multiple penthouses, which were his, to smithereens with a Magnum red wine bottle, no clean up. What a messy crime scene. And this is what LC's put out there. So I wasn't in full earshot of the conversation with the police. I remember her saying she didn't want to file a report. Why not? Nothing had been cleaned up in the apartment. The police clearly saw everything. I remember the male officer saying that if she wanted to file a report, they would go and arrest him right now. One of the officers left their card on the kitchen table. Okay, fair enough, this is what they're doing. The wine was red. The hallway rugs were light. If only there was a picture. AH, we have pictures. And sure enough, the pictures of the red wine spilled just like AH, Rocky and do, altered by the media. But still, what a messy crime scene. Go over here. We have pictures, yes, of Penthouse 5. Yeah. So you got a little bit by here and a little bit by there. But as you can see in the comment section by, Rob has said, well, you could always use these. Where her and her friends always do it and they smash wine bottle after wine bottle. These people, they just don't seem to realise that people have other photos. This is another one. There we go, legal documents, Hollywood life. Look at the alterations. Let's make it brighter so you can see a little bit more. Even though it doesn't, it just ruins it. This is what the media does, ladies and gentlemen. But then you have more by here. This is what she said. I could hear Johnny kicking in the doors, throwing the wine bottles. There's still holes in the doors. I wasn't sure if the cops were on the way. The first set of cops were indeed on the way and about to enter this post-apocalyptic messy crime scene. I called Samantha Spector after Johnny left and I was being comforted by and protected in Rocky and Josh's apartment. Johnny's apartment, not theirs. I could hear Johnny still trying to get into the apartments. I thought he left. Demanding to get into my apartment, kicking in the doors, throwing the wine bottles. There's still holes in the doors you can still see to this day from that. And I, even though it was scary, I wasn't sure if the cops were on the way. Huh. That's interesting, because I'm pretty sure she said they were. But then we got more. Into this post-apocalyptic messy crime scene that had not been cleared up, per AH's best friend arrived the first two LAPD officers, Sanez and Hayden, trained in DA. 2 security sweeps of the penthouses and 2 well-lit interviews of AH's yield. No damage. So, this is when it gets really interesting now, guys, because The police officers have said there was no damage. There was nothing there to even show anything had happened. But this is what we got. So, the penthouse connected to this residence? Yes, I did. Okay, tell me about it. How did that occur? After we completed the sweep of the first penthouse that we were all standing in, the male advised me that the next door penthouse also belonged to AH, and he walked us over, unlocked the door, and my partner and I did a sweep of that, okay? Penthouse as well. Okay, and could you describe what you saw in that penthouse? Yes, it was many racks, a lot of white clothing, and I remember asking the male, oh, do they sell clothing? Are they? He's like, oh yeah, they design clothing and jewellery. I said, oh, okay, just main conversation. I said, okay, and I remember continuing upstairs, and we checked the whole loft and everything seemed ordinary. Okay, in your entry to the place where they had described making jewellery and clothing, did you see any other people as you and Officer Hayden went in? No, we didn't. Was the gentleman with you at this time? Yes, he was. Okay, when you walked into that area, did you see at any time any signs of a struggle? No, I did not. Having occurred, did you see any signs of vandalism to any of the property? No, I didn't. Did you see any broken glass of any kind? No, I didn't. Did you see any wine bottles on the floor? No, I didn't. Did you see any wine spilled on the floor of any kind? No, I didn't. Did you see... Okay, and you and Officer Hayden cleared that location as well? Yes, we did. Okay, after you cleared that location, Officer Sanes, what did you do next? We, my partner and I, responded to the original penthouse where AH was standing. Okay, when you arrived back at the original penthouse, did you encounter her again? Yes, I did. Okay, is it true to say that you had an opportunity to observe her face a second time when you encountered her? Yes, I did. Okay, at this point, were there any signs on her face that you could see that she had any injuries? There was no signs of injury. Did you see any red marks or anything? No, I did not. Did you see anything on her face? I did not. Did you see any swelling of any kind on her face? I did not. Can you see where this is going? And did you talk to her a second time? Yes, I did. Okay, could you describe for us what that conversation? I advised we had checked both and that they left their card. That's what that one was. And when you think about it, that is just crazy. Because you got these people now, they're going around saying, oh, how dare this happen to her, you know? And when you think of it like that, it's really scary. Because this is when you see now, right, LAPD officers who their job is to go around and deal with DA and everything else. This is what they do. It's absolutely disgusting, guys, because when you think about it, her and her friends literally lied under oath. Because, again, who are they going to believe? Actual police officers who their job is to look after people in those kind of situations. There was nothing on the floor. There was no damage. There was nothing. But then you got them. Oh, it was terrible. It was horrible. Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't go and actually dismiss the police officers. But carrying on. LAPD officer Melissa Sanes testified in front of Justice Nichols in the UK Ohio about the post-apocalyptic messy crime scene she and her partner encountered. I searched the entire flat and there was no damage and there was no broken glass. Nothing out of the ordinary. So I'm suggesting to you that perhaps you did not give the care to this case that you say you did. At the time you did not think it was going anywhere and you had no idea whatsoever that you would ever be giving evidence in court about your visit to the flat that evening. I do not agree with that statement. But in fact, AH had a mark through her right cheek. Whether you saw it or whether you did not look carefully, I cannot say. What do you say about that? She did not have any injuries at the time. And that there was damage to the flat in the form of items that had been tossed around the flat and there was broken glass in the flat. I searched the entire flat and there was no damage and there was no broken glass. There was nothing to report and nothing out of the ordinary. So then Officer Sanchez's testimony was so destructive to AH and her friend's picturesque tale of all of this, the Sun called off the testimony of the other LAPD officer Hayden, who they had subpoenaed and who had been waiting since 4 a.m. to testify. Justice Nicole, oh right. That just goes to show how much of this is just a bunch of bullshit. It all is. You got police officers, but you don't believe them. Why not? Why not, Judge? Then it goes on, my lord, there's another officer due to give evidence. Given the answers of this officer, I do not need any more require him to give evidence. Is that Officer Hayden? Miss Sanes was the DV trained officer, the other was a probation officer. Right. Could I ask that be communicated to Officer Hayden? It may be easy if I just rise for a few minutes while that is done. From an injury from my training and experience. Right, so, sorry, it did not appear that there was any injury on her face. Is that what you're saying? Correct. No injuries. Miss Waz, let me ask you a little bit about that. She was not making eye contact with you. I think you have established that, Miss Waz. You did not see her full face on at any time, did you? She had her face down and she was upset. There were times when she made eye contact. She was visibly upset, so she would look down, and sometimes she would look up when spoke to me. It was back and forth, so I did get a look at her entire face. What was the lighting like in the apartment? It was very well lit. Did you ask her to go towards a light so you could examine her face? When I was in the hallway, before we entered her home, that was the brightest room during the entire call, so I was able and I was comfortable with seeing that she had no injuries on her face. Did you ask her? So no, we did not. Sorry. So, just the way that Miss Waz and all these people were going against him is like, come on now, you are literally taking the cake. Because these officers who are trained in all of this, that's what you go and do. You're trying to belittle police officers. These people are there to help them. But no, the way you look at it, it was just like, yeah, we don't care about these officers. And that's exactly what Judge Nicole basically did. Judge Nicole, although my views are in conflict with the evidence of Officers Sanes and Hayden, I maintain them nonetheless. Mr. Drew was an impressive witness. What a messy crime scene the impressive Mr. Drew described. But then the next set of LAPD officers arrived. So we had this one by here, going on later, greeted more officers who came in, got down by there. But then you got another one. In my view, Mr. Drew was an impressive witness. He gave his evidence clearly and conceded. Some matters, even alternate answers, would have been better suited. While I accept the views I have reached are in conflict with the evidence of Officer Sanes and Officer Hayden, I maintain them nonetheless. This is what the judge put down in his actual thing. And it's just so stupid. But again, no, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what we got. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see each and every one of you soon. Goodbye.